Time's up, run! Prepare to meet your maker, blacksmith.
Right here, Tannen!
Draw!
No! I thought we could settle this like men.
You thought wrong, dude. Thank you. That's good.
You know what I think? I think Buford's going to jail. Get him out of that shit. Get him! Buford Tannen, you're under arrest for robbing the Pine City stage. You got anything to say?
I hate manure.
Come along with me, celebrate year 3. It's Marchy McFly again. Back to the Future 3, a month-long podcast with me. It's Marchy McFly, it's Marchy McFly again. I'm doing it again. I couldn't stay away, I confess. Another adventure with Marty and Doc, and this time they're in the OS. So come along with me, celebrate year 3. It's Marchy McFly again. Stay here all month long and get sick of this song, 'cause it's Marchy McFly, it's Marchy McFly again. It's a 31-day podcast where I celebrate one movie and the movie happens to be Back to the Future Part 3. Today, I'm here for the 26th time, talking about Back to the Future Part 3. Welcome back.
to Marchy McFly, ladies and gentlemen. It is the 26th day of March. And as you know, I've already said, this is the 26th day in a row that I've watched Back to the Future Part 3. And the 26th day in a row that I'm here podcasting about Back to the Future Part 3. Now, today, I wanted to talk about something. Well, actually, I've been meaning to talk about this, and I'm kind of running out of days as far as what I want the title of the show to be and what I want the picture of the episode to be. So even though yesterday we were the photo was of Marty delivering a specific drink to Doc, today I want to talk about it because yesterday we had special guest Eric on the show, so we just kind of did some general Back to the Future Part 3 discussions. And don't forget Tuesday, longtime friend and guest of the show, Jason, will be returning to Geek Mentality and Marchy McFly. But the thing I wanted to talk to you about specifically, there'll be other things, I'm sure. I have notes that I wrote down that I thought I wanted to bring up. But today I wanted to talk about Joey. Let's make some wake up juice. I'm sure I got that wrong, even though I've watched this movie 26 times. I'm sure I got that quote wrong. I want to talk about specifically wake up juice and a couple things that I noticed, because today I as you know, or as you may know, I've been saying that I'm also reading the novelization of Back to the Future Part 3, but I'm reading it notoriously slow. So much so that we haven't, what am I? Am I like in 190 something? I just got to the point where, I just got to the point where they killed Marshall Strickland. In the book, the murder of Marshall Strickland stays as part of the story. So I imagine at the end, Buford will be arrested for, that crime instead of the Pine City stage robbery. But also in the book, because while this is going on, that scene was basically him riding into town right before they show up outside of the saloon and call out Clint Eastwood. And I don't know if I've mentioned this yet. I apologize if I have, but I've been meaning to every time I watch that scene and the cavalry scene. Those are my two favorite sound design scenes, because the Marty Indians, all that happens. They ride, jump over the cave. They don't notice the car at all. I think Marty could have backed the car into the cave a little more, but they don't notice that. Marty watches them go, and then you hear this like wave of sound, like, and then you're like, oh shit, the cavalry. But I love that kind of fading in sound. And it happens again in a lesser extent when Buford and his gang ride into downtown Hill Valley, right while Marty's trying to wake up Doc. Right outside, you see them pull up outside. And when you think about it, we didn't get this at the beginning when Buford first showed up at the saloon, but seeing Buford and his gang pull up, even though it's towards the end, is reminiscent of seeing Biff and his gang pull up outside the malt shop, and seeing Griff and his friends hover down, pull up right outside the Cafe 80. So this happens again. It's kind of another callback in the synergy of Back to the Future. But there's that moment of sound of that team of ruffians and no-gooders, something like that, running into town. I like their the sound of the horses. Those are just two things that stuck out to me that I've been meaning to discuss. So that's the part I'm in the book. I'm at in the book right now. But right before that is when Doc took the shot of whiskey. Doc passed out, and the bartender says he needs to have something else. Now, in the book, in the novelization, I have it pulled up here. He says, Marty gives Doc the coffee, And the bartender says, son, the bartender said over Marty's shoulder, if you want him to sober up fast, you're going to need something a little stronger than coffee. Marty looked at the barkeep. In matters like this, he supposed he should consult an expert. What do you suggest, Marty? He asked. The bartender grinned and waved a young man over to him, to the bar. Joey, he instructed, get me some Tabasco sauce, cayenne pepper, onion, chili peppers, and mustard seed. He doesn't call it wake-up juice. That's never mentioned in the book. Says the young fellow nodded and ran into the back room as the bartender reached beneath the polished wooden shelf and pulled out a bottle of vinegar and part of an onion. And then it says how he dumps them all together. Now, this isn't me saying, and now I'm going to make this myself because I don't have Tabasco sauce. I don't have an onion. I might have chili peppers. I don't think I have a mustard seed, and I don't think I have I might have cayenne pepper. I don't know. So it's not about me recreating this. But what I did find was there are some YouTubers out there that did recreate this or tried to recreate this the best I can. So I just want to mention them. I'm not going to play the videos because I'm going to mention these videos. I'm going to put links to them in the show notes. And I think you should check them out. The first one is from a YouTube channel called Cocktail Chemistry. What I like about what they did is the guy went to the script. He said he went back to the original script. He found it in the script for The Paradox. Remember, Paradox originally was the screenplay that 2 and 3 was, when it was one long story, which it kind of is one long story. But that was the original treatment screenplay. And he uses that script, and I took a screenshot of what he said, and in the script it says a bottle of Tabasco sauce. The Tabasco is on the bar. Next to it is a jar of jalapeno juice, a bottle of mustard seed, some cayenne pepper, part of an onion, and vinegar. So very similar to the book, except in the book they mention Tabasco sauce, cayenne pepper, onion. They say chili peppers. There's no chili peppers mentioned in the screenshot, at least that I have. Mustard seeds are mentioned, but they talk about jalapeno juice. So this guy goes and takes those ingredients from the script, not the novelization. I just thought it was interesting that there's a little difference there. He takes that and he makes it the best, as best he can, based on how much ingredients it looks like they're all dumping in to the glass. He drinks it, and the reaction is exactly how you think it would be. But then he does something cool. He says, what if I took the basics of these ingredients, try to actually make some drinks out of it. So the first thing he makes is a beer mixed drink, which I didn't even know you did that. You took beer and made mixed drinks with it. And the second one he made something almost like an old fashioned. Now, I don't know what that is. I know an old fashioned is a drink called an old fashioned, just like I know like a Manhattan is called a Manhattan. I don't know what that means. Does that mean it's like, is Manhattan like ingredients, or is it a Manhattan mix? I guess I've heard of Manhattan mix, but that's ingredients mixed to make Manhattans. Ladies and gentlemen, I am on the other half of my 40s. I'm 46 years old. And I don't know, I think the Queen's English, if it were the Queen's English, I don't know nothing about alcohol or drinking, really. I'll have a whiskey drink. I'll have a lager drink. I'll have a cider drink. I'll have did I screw it up? Gosh, damn it. Tub thumping. But I don't know, like, oh, I'm having an old fashioned. I don't know what that means. Oh, I'm having a bourbon. I've heard. I know what bourbon is. I don't know. I couldn't tell you what it tastes like, and I couldn't tell you if it's good. I probably would go when I took a sip of it. But I have some hard cider in my fridge. I think that's delightful. I am just a novice to the 10th degree as far as alcohol is concerned. So when he makes an old fashioned, it looks kind of cool. It's got a giant ice cube in it. And he says, well, yeah, this is a nice improvement on it. So I think that's a fun video to check out. It's only like 7 or 8 minutes long. And then I found another video from a YouTube channel called How to Drink. Now, it seems like this YouTube channel is very popular. They have like, I think twice as they like 1 million more views, and literally I think, and twice as many subscribers. Like this, the Wake Up Juice from Cocktail Chemistry has 142,000 views, which is nothing to sneeze at. Please, he's got 666,000 subscribers, and this video was posted 2 years ago, and it's called Recreated Wake Up Juice from Back to the Future. The other one I'm talking about now is from 3 years ago, and it's got 1.7 million views from a channel that has 1.65 million subscribers. And this one is entitled Destroying My Insides with Wake Up Juice from Back to the Future Part 3. I like that. That's a fun title. This guy, it doesn't seem like he uses a script or any sort of source material except for what he's seeing on screen in the scene. I think he does a fairly good job of recreating it. He seems to forget the hot sauce a couple times, but he ends up adding it in, and he does the same thing where he says, "Let me try to make another drink, out of this, something a little more palatable," and he makes a spicy bourbon hangover drink, which I'd like to try. I don't know. I feel like anytime you drink alcohol, I'm just like, when people say, "Oh, it's so smooth," or "it's so sweet," everything just tastes like rah to me. So I don't know. Maybe I've just never really had, good alcohol. I don't know. But that one is a pretty good. That one's like twice as long. It's like 15 minutes, but it's still an enjoyable view. And I like his whole setup. Like he's got a. Like one guy's, it looks like he's in his kitchen, which it doesn't look cheap, or it looks like he's in like a test kitchen almost. It doesn't look cheap or anything. It just looks more like clean and sciencey and modern. With this guy, I don't know if he does this for different movies, because he recreates Star Wars drinks. He does he recreated butterbeer. I'm just looking at these. Of course, that one's got 6 million views. I got to watch that one. So this guy, I don't know if he just recreates drinks from movies, but his setup, like he just had a nice bar that he was kind of standing at. It just felt more like a TV production that he was doing, and I just thought it was. I liked that the other guy based it on the script, but I could see how this guy's a very popular YouTuber. So I'm going to put links to both of those in the show notes that I think you should check out. But I did not make any wake-up juice to drink myself, unfortunately. Also yesterday, show note, Eric was on the show and he quizzed me about something, about how many men Biff was credited with killing, besides the not counting certain people because of the racist history of Hill Valley. And I was convinced it was 14. I was like, I need to check this. And I was like, go ahead and check it. And guess what? I did check it. And guess what? I was wrong. And Eric was correct. It is 12. I thought it was 14. I've watched this movie I watched it for 25 days in a row, thinking it was. In my first answer was 14. Today I watched and I go, oh crumbs, it's 12. And by the way, oh crumbs, I think I decided recently that I want that to be my exclamation. Not damn it or cuss words, or swear words or curse words and whatever. But oh crumbs is. I don't know. It just fits, and it is so delightful to say, even when you're saying it because you're upset. Ah, crumbs. So, oh crumbs, Eric was right, and I was wrong. Let's go and see how many show notes I have left. At the end. I know I'm jumping ahead, but Doc rides that. I've talked about this movie 25 days. I'm going to jump ahead. Doc rides the hoverboard when he saves Clara, and he rides that so smoothly. Now, maybe the hoverboard is just easy to pick up. It's very intuitive. It's from the future. And this is the Doc from 85. So he's been in 2015. He knows about these hoverboards. That they're not like, what is this crazy contraption? Like when 1955 Doc's like, bring that flotation device. This Doc knows all about hoverboards. But I thought it would have been cool to see him kind of just playing with it in the barn, except realizing now that this is the 1985 Doc who knows all about the future. It doesn't quite make sense. Why would he be playing with this? Now, the 1955 Doc, if he had some extra time, he'd probably think this is a cool, very unbelievable futuristic toy. I need to figure this out and try to play with it. So, as I said, it would have been fun to see him practicing in the barn, but it doesn't quite make sense when you think about it. What is it? Seamus McFly is probably a good shot. I think I talked about that. He seemed to shoot those pheasants or whatever it was. He shot rabbits. In the library, I didn't notice this until last week, but Copernicus is with Doc and Marty in the library. Maybe you see him more than once, but the moment I notice is when you see the big overhead shot of Doc and Marty in the library area. Copernicus is on a table and he's wagging his tail. So I'm assuming they rushed right over there. Didn't take Copernicus out he was outside of the cemetery. I'm sure he defecated all over those graves. He desecrated and defecated. But they didn't drop him off home. But they had the tow truck. Even if they did, they were like, you're coming with us. And we don't care. We're going to break into the library and we're going to let my dog piss everywhere. But I just thought, I don't know. I just wanted to mention, you see his little tail wagging. He seems to be having a good old time. George McFly. So I say George McFly's father had an affair, but the mother loved George as her own. So what do I mean by that? So George McFly's father, okay? Every McFly looks like Marty, okay? Except George McFly had an affair with another woman who kind of looked like George, okay? But George's father is so commandeering. He's like, we're never going to tell him. And let's say that he took that kid in as his own. The woman with the affair didn't want anything to do with George, okay? So they took this kid in. He looked he barely looked like a McFly, but he looked more like the mom, who he never knew. So he didn't know that, this is, which it would have been crazy because then he looks at Calvin Klein, who looks just like his dad. But so it doesn't quite make sense. But I was trying to figure out why every McFly looks like Marty except for George and Dave. So I'm thinking it has to do with this affair. Now he has half that McFly blood in him. So that DNA went and created Marty, who looks just like every other McFly in history. But some of the DNA from the mom seeped into Dave McFly, and that's why he's kind of tall and gawky, just like George. I have just solved the mystery of why Seamus effing McFly looks like Marty, why William McFly looks like Marty, why Martin McFly probably looks like Marty too. It's mostly because of the inbreeding. But I think the reason that George doesn't is because of obviously the torrid affair with that trollop who didn't even want to be with her son. Anyway, I just made that all up, but I don't know. I'm trying to make sense out of it. Couple other things. Oh, what is this? Oh, I think I talked about Tannen when he's with Clara. That's when he's at his kind of scariest and creepiest. Well, we get a looky what we have here, which is right out of, was it out of 1 or 2? Because I know he says it in 2 when he sees her around I think they say it in 1 with the car. And I think he says it in 2. Yes, he says it in 1 when he takes Calvin Klein, Marty out of the car. Then he sees Lorraine. I believe he says it in 2 when Lorraine is with her friend looking at the dress for the dance, I think. But we definitely hear Buford say it. So it's a very Tannen thing to say, looky what we have here. But of course, he's trying to say, oh, I bet you'll do something for $80. And then he shoves her. And I realize that is, he's killed 12 men, not 14, 12 men. And yet when he shoves Clara, that's when I hate him the very, very most. And I guess one of those 12s originally would have been the Marshall Tannen, but not anymore. A couple other things I wanted to note. I talked about the sound. I wrote down the sound of the cavalry. Okay, and the sound of Buford's gang. Two things. In 1990, I'm wondering, did kids just not wear seatbelts? And I say this with experience. In 91, I believe, because I was just, I think I was just finished my freshman year of high school. 1991, my friend, his sister, her friend, and me were in the car, and we're driving to, I think, her 8th grade graduation. And my buddy takes a left without even looking because I made him laugh. And he's one of these guys who, to this day, wants to look at you while he's talking to you, even if he's friggin' driving. Now I'm frightened and I wear seatbelts constantly. But then I didn't. We totaled his dad's car. I remember hitting my head against the glass. Thankfully, this is like a 1970 something 442, this big souped up power car that he probably shouldn't have been driving. And he, I hit the glass, my head, no concussion. I probably did have a concussion, but 1991, they didn't check it. I remember the doctor said, just wake him up and check his head. He should be fine. You're good to go. But that's my point being, and I'm not trying to make this like some tragedy because we were all fine. We were all fine. It scared the hell out of us, but we were all fine. But when Marty and Jennifer are driving and they're going to race needles, they're not wearing seatbelts at all. So Marty backs up like a crazy person, spins around, and you can see them kind of bouncing around in their car. Now, originally, Marty does race him. Maybe Jennifer wasn't in the car in the original timeline. Because if she was in the car and they hit that Rolls Royce, Jennifer was not wearing a seatbelt, she probably would have been hurt pretty bad. And it's the fact that Marty only seems to hurt his hand, broke his hand. They seem like he's pretty lucky. So originally I thought Jennifer didn't have a scratch on her, but I'm going to say originally Jennifer was not in the car. And for some reason they wanted to race on a Sunday afternoon. On a Sunday afternoon for what I'll do. Oh my God. Do I have another song? Wait. Sorry, I'm reaching from my guitar. So we could do like, a. So it's like racing on a Sunday afternoon. But I hit that Rolls Royce trying to beat needles. Bye. Okay, that's all I got. I'm not actually gonna write that whole song, but because of it's such a minute moment, and he doesn't actually race needles on a Sunday afternoon. That's in an alternative time that never happened. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about today, and it is, I've noticed this over the years of my movie watching. I love background action. Okay, I love the choreography of it all. I find it very impressive. Like in this movie, there are moments where they are talking about the map, and there is so much going on in the background. The whole town is bustling. You see Clara's there, and none of that, quote unquote, matters to the shot. It's just everyone go about these things and focus on these two guys. Same thing when they're talking to the conductor and what is he, Fearless Frank Fargo? Is that his name? When the guy he's talking about. And you see the clock in the background. And I believe you see Clara again. But all that stuff is like, if they screw that up, that is, who cares if Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox nailed their delivery of the lines? We got to do it again. So it's just like that background stuff I love. The whole dance at the party, you see there's like this blonde woman clapping, and she's doing this thing where she's spinning her hands over, and you see Clara kind of slowly clapping, waiting for Doc to ask her to dance. And I'm wondering if that's how people clap then. But there's just a lot happening there. Certain parts of the town, like when Doc is talking to Marty about, there's no way Clara's showing up. Someone outside has to say, go. And the mayor pulls up with his carriage, perfectly timed, to come out and talk to Emmett right then and there. I just all kinds of stuff like that is happening. I'm sure obviously it happens in all kinds of movies, but I'm always impressed like that. I think in Jaws, the big one was like, this beach is filled with people. They're here for a movie, but none of them, quote unquote, matter to the shot, but don't screw it up either. If you're walking around, walk where they tell you to walk, whatever. The biggest one for me in this movie, and I don't know if I'm just easily impressed or what, but when Doc, like, it's all kind of one shot, I think. It's, they blow out the car, and then he says, it's going to take me a month to repair. He's like, a month? You have money? He goes, I know. He goes, okay, so we can't pull the cart. Wait, what if we go down a steep hill? Ice, we'll wait till the lake to freeze over. He's like, Monday. He goes, right. We can't pull the cart, roll it downhill, but what if we could push it? And right when he says that, way off in the distance, the train pulls up and times it perfectly. Now, I wonder how much has to go into that. He just looks and he's like, eureka. I don't know, whatever he says. I've got it. I've watched it 25 times and I don't remember what he says, but he's talking to Marty and they're in focus right there. And in the background, boom, that train pulls up, and that is not CGI. Nowadays, it's just, we'll just put that train in. Don't worry about it. It's a green screen back there and it will look pretty perfect. Nope. This is, as far as I know, I could be wrong, but as far as if I know, that's all happening in camera. Now, maybe I'm wrong. If it's not happening in camera, okay, then it's, it looks great. But it's not that impressive. But if it is all happening in camera, like I think it is, that shot to me is one of my favorite shots in the whole movie. And it's so subtle and it lasts 3 seconds, but the train pulling up right back there, you can add the sound effects later, but the smoke, everything, just absolutely perfect. And, look at that. I think I'm done. Well, I might as well talk about, I want to talk a little bit about today's photo. The duel between Mad Dog and Marty. To me, it's still Thomas Wilson's, like, the pinnacle of just 3 movies of wonderful performances is that, he's like, draw. And Marty's like, no, I thought we could settle this like men. And just like the episode title, Buford says, you thought wrong, dude. Doesn't even wait a second. And boom, draws so quick, shoots Marty right in the chest. Probably thinking that's the easiest way. That's how you kill a man. You shoot him in the heart. Doesn't work. But he said it's so easy. And I know I've talked about this before, but I don't care because I love it so much. When he says, oh, thank you. And he starts like, he doesn't say, I don't think he says thank you twice, but in my head, he's like, thank you. And he does this little curtsy, this little bow. It is great. It's great 25 times that I've seen it. 26 times, today that I've seen it. It'll be great for the final 7, 8, 9, 0, 1, 5 times. See how I did math there? It'll be great for the final 5 times. Every time I see that, I smile. There are things in this movie, I don't care if I've watched it 25, 26 times. They make me smile. I'm not laughing out loud or anything, but they just make me happy every time I see them. And I'm looking forward to seeing them again tomorrow. And speaking of tomorrow, it's another day. It's the final Monday. The final Marchy McFly Monday. Oh my goodness gracious. But I hope that you'll be there, because I'll be there. I'll be there watching Back to the Future Part 3 and talking about Back to the Future Part 3. And my friends, I hope you'll be there too. Now, in the meantime, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Geek Mentality. The Facebook page is Fans Not Experts, and the website is fansnotexperts.com. That's it. I think I'm done here. So I want to thank you once again for listening. Thank you once again for subscribing. Get ready, because we're at the final 5 here, the final week Ooh, baby. But we still have these 5 days to look forward to. I'll see you tomorrow. And until then,
Here is my theme song.
This is my podcast, I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe. Cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time, and I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode.
Fans not experts.